Good evening. Welcome to Pitch Strikes After Dark. I am Uncle Tats and hope everybody had a great day. Hope everybody is resting up and ready for tomorrow. So we put out the members poll and the question that did win. If the question does not win in the members poll, by the way, that just gets recycled to the next um, show to vote for. So that's how that will work. So I will not divulge what the other topic would have been, but do hope everybody did enjoy their day. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening. And we will be talking about if the wild card actually benefits the Yankees. And it's more of no, of course you want to win the division, but when you're on a hot streak like this, is it easier to just keep the ball rolling and just keep that momentum going? And that's always a big question. Yo, NFE, what's going on? Good to see you hanging out. And NFE, if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome. You know how to do it. But I think the biggest thing is going to be, I think the momentum that they're on is actually in their favor. Not that it's better to miss out on a division, but I do think that this can be a benefit for the Yankees because the last thing you want to do when you're getting everybody starting to play, tight baseball is give them rest and have them lose any of that, any of their flow, their swagger. However, no rush. But real quick, want to get to a couple people that are in the chat. Good evening. Almost said good morning. Good evening, Jonathan. Jonathan, thanks for texting me earlier. I was like hearing from you. And we will figure out how to get you on the as a co-host. Healing Men's Hearts, becoming a very, very loyal family member. Appreciate you. Home field helps. I don't like that it's a 3-game series. I'd rather have one less round to go through. Rather be like the Jays waiting for my opponent. And I don't think that's a bad take. I really don't. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Specifically, it leans more towards the momentum of it. As you would want to you want to win the division so you can really set you have time to really dissect what you want to do and set everything up properly. As far as your rotation, get a little more time to think about bullpen and really set your postseason roster up for success. Brad Jewish, my favorite critic. Solo Uncle Tats means at least 3 losses of concentration. You know that's a fact. Jacob Pedruzzi, what's going on? Good to see you hanging out. Let's ask this question, all right? Going back to what Healing Men's Heart was, is the wild card now that it's a 3, once they brought it to a 3-game series, is that better for baseball than the 1-game playoff? I'm sure we talked about it when it first was implemented, but I think that I like that they do have a 3-game set. Because baseball is always played as a series. It's not a single game. I always kind of thought that was you're kind of cheating the game out of what it's used to. I know you're in a different time zone. I know you're a little limited, but you have definitely not been forgotten. You're one of the real ones. So I think that I think that it's. I think the 3-game series is better. Just like Healing is saying, 3 games is better. 162 all for 1 game seems cruel. Yeah, and what they were trying to do, and I understood it completely at the time. They wanted to go back to putting emphasis on winning your division, and I think having that 3-game series, I think it still does that. I think having like a best of 5. For a wild card, I thought that was that was too much because it didn't matter if you won the division or not, and I like the quick turnaround for the wild card series. You don't get the opportunity, you don't have the luxury of waiting, resting, a couple extra workout sessions, practices, drills. You kind of lose all that, but you're the wild card with the 3-game series just puts you in a little state of familiarity with the way that baseball is being played now. So, they did have, and once we get NFE in here, I'll hold off. I do want to go through the bracket as well. You also did. Where's my phone? Because they, I saw a couple of things about the lineup. I believe it was from Jack Curry, who is a very reliable source. That put out what he thinks. So, where is a projected game one lineup? He's got Goldschmidt leading off, playing first. Judge second, right. Bellinger in left field. Clean up. Stanton for DH. Rosario at second. Grisham at center field. Volpe at short. Caballero at third. Wells catching. Here's my problem with this. Okay. I know a lot of people are going, how could you not play Jazz? We don't know if Jazz. We're still waiting to find out if he's 100%. So I alluded to it earlier this morning on the morning show with the guys that I thought that Jazz would be the guy that was kind of up in the air if he was going to be able to get into the lineup. But I like that. I like that Goldschmidt's playing because he does play well against lefties. And we need people that can handle lefty pitching when you have Garrett Crochet on the mound. This is not going to be an easy. As much as the Yankees are riding high, my confidence in them is peaked. I think this is going to be a tough game. I think this is going to be game one in the bullpen. It's going to be it's all going to come down to who has to go to their bullpen first. In order to really, put up some crooked numbers. So what I don't like, right, especially when you have Fried on the mound, I don't like that McMahon is not playing third. I'd rather have McMahon there. I would also rather have Caballero at short and Volpe on the bench. I think that we were making the assumption that with Ben Rice catching Fried's, last start, that it was kind of like a prelude to what was to come, and it seems that Wells is going to be behind the plate and Rice is going to be on the bench. Rice is not going to be on the bench the whole game. He's either coming in for Goldie or Wells. You will see. You could almost lock it in that Ben Rice is going to make an appearance in this game. Boone would be leaving Rice on the bench would be equivalent to bringing when they brought in Nestor over Tim Hill. Like you're asking for things to go wrong. Here, bad Boone starting Goldie. I hate playing lefty righty matchups, but that's what I'm saying. I think that it's going to be a situation because Goldschmidt does see the ball well off the lefty. So this is not a move that that's not the one that's kind of raising my eyebrows a little bit. What's really alarming me is the fact that they are still continuing to have faith in Volpe when he hasn't proven it. He hasn't proven. Yeah, what has he proven? Like I said earlier, he thinks he's getting paid to make errors because he can't go through a game without making one. He better not. There better be zero errors in this game tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. And I agree. No, Lou, I'm agreeing. And Lou, I've been a Volpe guy, but Volpe has no business playing tomorrow. You are absolutely right. You play Caballero. He's got the glove. He's got the speed. He's got the bat. Enough of all of this. having to cater to your youth. This is not. I've been saying this for weeks now. I don't care about your feelings. I care about results. That's it. I want the title. I want the championship. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of scrolling through X and all you see these. Here's the mistake that Boston's making and their fans are making. And it's the same mistake the Yankees made where we kept chanting, "We want Boston." How did that go for us? They're doing that now. They think that they have this thing locked up. They think they're just going to walk right now. They think they have the most easiest wild card matchup ever based on the results of the year. And yeah, they just might. This is not an easy series. We have our work cut out for us. They have to be They better be clicking on all cylinders. If Volpe messes up tomorrow when we lose, the fans will be out for blood. You better damn well believe it. Absolutely, Lou. No doubt about it. We are going to. I might just sit back in my chair, right? Put my go like this, and just let Donald rip them apart. Rip them apart. And that might be the whole show. Is just me doing this. And just let Donald cook, because he's going to be chomping at the bit if something goes wrong. And yeah, 3-game set. There's no margin for errors. That's what I don't. That's why I'm like, you want to start Volpe in the divisional series. I'm not in favor of it, but I'm not out for blood right away. Like if this lineup comes out tomorrow, it's gonna be a nightmare. I might just not have to go on social media tomorrow, because every time I look at a Yankee fan losing their mind, it's just gonna infuriate me even more. Tom's gonna go. You know it. You all know Donald is like. I bet you he saw that tweet. I bet you tomorrow he's gonna go buy a new phone before the game because he broke it. We need every chance to get a crochet tomorrow. Cabby causes it, but that's it. That's why you need Cabby, because he can work the walk and then drive you nuts on the bases. It's not even just the glove at shortstop, which is a plus. He's got a plus glove. It's everything else that's the problem. I don't get it, And I wish Jazz was healthier, because then it would just make it a little easier to configure the lineup. But they want to give him. He might start game 2 if it's only the one game that he's got to sit for, just to make sure that everything is right and he's feeling good. I can't argue that. Because if the intent, obviously the intent is a deep run in the playoffs. You don't want to force him into game 1, have him aggravate something, and now you're missing him for, the divisional series. So it's gonna make it a little rough. So the Jazz thing, I'm not going too crazy about. One moment, let the puppy in. Everybody's waiting. Oh, don't be rude. All right, later. So, like I was saying, the Jazz thing, can't hate on it. The Volpe issue, yes, I can, and I absolutely will. I'm dreading seeing the official lineup out tomorrow. I'm hoping that when Boone wakes up tomorrow, he's gone, what the hell was I thinking? I got to get this. I can't have this. It's too much of a risk. Not against Crochet. He needs every opportunity to go his way. Volpe is not going to give that to you. if he surprises us and has a great game and ends up, going, 3 for 4, 2 for 3 throughout the game, I'll come on here and everybody will be like, yeah, didn't see that coming. Absolutely not. Did not see that coming. And let's get him in right now. And bro, how you been, man?
What's up? It's been a while. What's going on?
Not much. We were just saying how scary it is that they're really thinking about putting Volpe in this lineup tomorrow.
Are you honestly surprised?
No, but I'm just saying how frustrating it is that, because we knew it was coming, but we didn't want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jack Curry put the projected lineup out, it's hard to be like, Jack's a little off, but we know Jack Curry, he knows what he doesn't put things out just to put them out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know Volpe's been frustrating at a lot of points during the season, man. Yeah, I know, right? Just a little bit, but we gotta remember too. I mean, and I don't know what postseason is going to look like, but postseason Volpe from 2024, he actually played surprisingly well. I mean,
he did elevate the postseason. I will give him that.
Yeah, I was hoping that would carry that into the 2025 season. Now, I think we all did. I mean, for me, it was like Volpe was like a make or break.
Except for Lou and Donald, they knew right away it wasn't.
Yeah, but I think Volpe towards like the end of the season, right? I'm saying he still had his flaws, but I think he got that cortisone shot on his shoulder. I think that helped him out. But I also think, and I was saying this when I went live earlier with TC and Jason Custodio, which shout out to those guys for jumping on. But I was saying that I think with the cortisone shot, and I think with Caballero being on that team, I think it lit a fire under him because he sees that Caballero's on the team and he's seeing what Caballero's doing. And he's just like, all right, I got to step my game up.
We've both said it on our channels repeatedly. One of the reasons that made Volpe so disappointing was there was no competition to keep his competitive drive going.
Mm-hmm.
And you started to see a little bit once they made that trade for Caballero that the defense, there was like a series where it was like his defense was really tight. He was, and he was making contact with the ball. He started leveling the swing a little more. And 3-4 games later, it was right back to the old Volpe. So because he realized, wait, they're just going to keep putting me in a lineup every day, even with these acquisitions. So I think that once he has the threat of being a bench player, it does elevate him a little bit.
Yeah, because he's seen what Caballero was doing since he joined the team, and I mean I would love to see something like this during spring training of next year. I know I'm kind of jumping way ahead. Have these two compete for their starting job.
You have Caballero next year, right? He's on the
Caballero's on their team. He's on the team control till 2029, dude.
Oh, fuck.
So he's with the Yankees. He's going to be with the Yankees for a while. And I know you guys were kind of talking about they should start Caballero tomorrow over Volpe, but Caballero does not have good numbers against Crochet. I think that's I think that's kind of.
Yeah, I think it's a small sample size,
yeah.
But my concern is, if you have the right lineup,
mm-hmm.
The bat shouldn't be too much of an issue. But I think with the bat, from what we've seen thus far this season, having Volpe over Caballero doesn't give you much confidence with that lineup spot anyway. It's the defense that really, and the base running is what really gives Caballero the more value.
Yeah, and again, it's just I like Caballero. Trust me, man. Anytime they start that guy, I get excited when they start him. I love Jose Caballero, but the thing is, I guess I kind of pulled up I was trying to see his at bats here this season against Crochet. I mean, this season eight plate appearances. Says 7 at bats. This is according to StatHead. I mean, he had a walk and he struck out 5 times against them. So it may be a small sample size, but that's the thing. But who's gonna hit Crochet better? That's the other question. Is it gonna be Volpe or is it gonna be Caballero? I mean, these are some tough decisions, man. I don't. This is why I'm happy I'm not a manager of a baseball team, because I would probably lose my mind if I was.
Yeah. What's your take on the? Let's get into the Wells over Rice debate, because that's a fun one. He has Wells catching and Rice on the bench.
So
obviously Goldschmidt's at first.
Goldschmidt's playing first base, period. End of story. I mean, the dude's going to play. Now, Rice, I love his bat. His bat is better than Wells.
Almost everybody.
There's no question about it. But look, Wells' defense, man, and again, I was talking about this with Jason Custodio and TC. We're all in agreement that I mean, first off, we said we were talking about the defense. I asked if you all think that Wells' defense is better. They said yes. They said that his defense is better than Rice. Now, there's also the other thing that I factored in too was the pitcher catcher chemistry. Does Max Fried prefer to pitch to Austin Wells? Because pitchers have their wishes. They have their they have their guys that they would rather pitch to. Carlos Rodon loves pitching to Austin Wells, for example, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they have phenomenal chemistry. Yeah,
they have a phenomenal chemistry. So there is that pitcher catcher chemistry. So maybe if Cam Schlittler was pitching tomorrow, perhaps Rice would be catching. I could see something like that. But I think Wells, though, does he hit lefties better than Rice? Or that's the other question. I got to see the numbers, but I don't know. But there's also Rice is the better bat, no doubt. Wells is, it's like Killing Men's Hearts is saying, Rice has a better bat. Wells is a better catcher than Rice. Wells can throw runners out who attempts to steal. Wells has been a little bit better throwing guys out. I will say that. Wells has
his snap release has gotten it has improved. It seemed like his defense really took a step back because he was focusing more on being that offensive catcher. And I think that's kind of what screwed him up this year. But I mean, if I really had to, there's no way. If I was, obviously we're not in the room, we don't know, right? None of us do. But I would be shocked when it came down to who's catching Fried tomorrow. Boone did not sit with Fried and have a discussion about it.
They might have had a discussion.
A true ace always gets the respect of what he prefers.
Right.
And Boone being the generational, baseball guy, I think that he would keep that tradition of, all right, you're my guy. Who do you feel comfortable with? And it's always never to disrespect the other guy that's left out of the starting lineup. But I like Cole has had a preference. He always preferred pitching to Higashioka. Because they had in college they had a relationship together, so they had that rapport. So Cole was allowed to, when he was on the roster, Cole mostly was caught by Higashioka. I think that this is the same situation. What was it? I think it was AJ Burnett preferred Francisco Cervelli. And when you're trying to win a game, you want your pitcher as comfortable as your catcher.
Because that, like I said, that I know a lot of fans don't want to see Austin Wells in the lineup, but who does Max Fried want though? I mean, because Max Fried is going to overrule. He's going to overrule all of us. It's as simple as that, man. And that pitcher catcher chemistry, like I said, is really, really important, man.
It's real.
Because it is real. Because honestly, if I was a Major League Baseball pitcher, I want, you know, I'm going to tell my manager, I'm going to be like, hey, I want this guy to be my catcher, man. Me and him, we got a good connection. We got, you know, I think we see eye to eye a lot on a lot more things than I do the other catcher. It's not to say the other catcher is bad, but I want to, this is who I want to pitch to personally, like that, you know. So I think that's, you know, Fried more often than not pitched to Wells this season. So
yeah, it's I think you're going to see what I would say. I'm guaranteeing that at some point in the substitution, Rice is coming into this game.
Depending on the situation,
it would definitely be my situation, but I think that I really think it would be negligence, you know, not to have him if it's that crucial of a spot. And I hate using this term because Boone ruined every term we use. Boone has ruined it. But if it's the right lane for him, he's got to come in the game.
I mean, you know, I won't say Boone ruined it, but it's what you just, I mean, it's the truth. If there's a lane, if there's a way to put the guy in, then sure. Yeah. I mean,
but it's you got to find that perfect situation.
Mm-hmm.
But like I made the statement, I was like, not having Rice in the lineup is just as damaging as bringing Nestor in. You know, I just think it's a bad move, especially, you know, Rice is hot right now. You know, it just doesn't make sense to sit him. But when you look at, you know, and I think the decision with Rice really came down to the debate with first base. I don't think catcher was the spot for Rice tomorrow. But Goldschmidt's got he's got that veteran presence. And I think it's going to, you know, leave everybody comfortable.
Yeah, Rice, the thing is, I know Rice's bat has been hot. I get that. But the thing is, when it comes to hitting lefties, Goldschmidt hits lefties much better than Ben Rice. It's not even close. And you get a good defensive glove at first base. You know, Goldschmidt was a huge upgrade defensively at first base.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Ben Rice. I mean, I don't think Ben Rice is necessarily a bad first baseman, but I prefer him not to play first base. I prefer him at catcher, and that's his natural position. You know, I don't know if that's what the Yankees have, if that's the Yankees' future plan for next year. I don't know for him at first base, because ultimately I'm already thinking they're probably not going to bring Goldschmidt back. I think they only brought him in for the 1 year.
After the season, he's done.
Yeah. Because like I'm, you know, again, I pulled up Rice's numbers against left-handed pitchers this season. This is according to StatMuse.
Mm-hmm.
So Ben Rice he had a batting average of 208, 7 homers, 18 RBIs, and 119 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers this season, right? Goldschmidt, 336 batting average with 7 homers and 16 RBIs and 168 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers this season. So, I mean, the number speaks for itself, right? If we're going to talk numbers, Goldschmidt clearly hits lefties better, and he's been throughout his career, he's got a track record. So it's not just this season; the man's got a track record.
Yeah, and I think it's a nod of respect to Goldschmidt and his career, you know, and you know, Goldschmidt, he was a big part of our early season success. You know, I kind of think that got lost in the weeds with some of the explosions from other players. You know, and you know, Goldschmidt might not be lighting it up, you know, as time went on, but it's What's going on, Jonathan? I could see a big postseason from Goldschmidt. At his age, he doesn't know he doesn't know what his next contract's going to look like. He doesn't know who's going to be knocking on the door. So yeah, right now, Jonathan. Jack Curry put out a projected lineup. We'll read through it one more time.
Was this on Twitter?
Yeah, it was on Twitter.
Oh, let me check that.
So it's got Goldschmidt playing, leading off, playing first. This is projected lineup game one from Jack Curry. Judge batting second and right. Bellinger third and left. Stanton DH and cleaning up. Rosario playing second. Grisham in center. Volpe at short. Caballero at third. Wells catching.
Okay, I'm seeing it right here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, and Jonathan Goldschmidt's absolutely going to make the roster. I don't see why they would ever leave that guy off the roster.
That would be. I mean, you want to talk about ultimate disrespect.
Yeah, that would be such a diss.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lineup, man. Look, Rosario is going to be in there. He's got to be in there because he hits lefty pitching really well, and he hits Crochet really well, actually. So he's hit Crochet. I think
they want to be very careful with Jazz.
Yeah, I know his X-rays and his CT scan came back negative, but I see
game one. I'm not going to get all up in arms about second base right now.
I'm not going to get all up in arms, but here's the thing. And again, I'm glad we're talking about this because once again, we were talking about this on my stream earlier. I mean, do you want both Ben Rice's bat and Jazz's bat out of the lineup? You got to have one of those guys in the lineup.
That causes a conundrum.
Yeah.
Yankees country, what's going on? How have you been? Good to see you in the chat.
Yeah. So, I think Jazz ultimately.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. I thought, I'm thinking, I think Jazz needs to be in there. I got to see, you got to see Jazz as second base. And I think you see Rosario at third, personally. I mean, I know this is projected from Jack Curry. I think he's just putting out his own prediction. But I think you got to see, Jazz at second and Rosario at third. I mean, you're sacrificing a little bit of defense at third base, but at the same time, McMahon's bat is not great. And he doesn't hit lefty pitching well, but Rosario does. I mean, so, the question is like you got to ask yourself for tomorrow's game. What do you sacrifice? What's more important, the offense or defense?
When you got a guy like Crochet on the mound, when you have Crochet on the mound, I think the offensive threat needs to take priority. Your defense is going to be there. Whether you have Rosario or Jazz at second, you're good. Defensively, if you have McMahon or Cabby at third, you're good. I think the big, whether you have Rice or Goldschmidt, I think we're good. Wells or Rice, you're good. But I think putting Volpe in the lineup really just screwed everything else up. It caused a jumble effect where they're juggling jungle. There you go, John. Brad. There's my first screw up. There's my trip up. He spoke into existence, that fucking bastard. But I think that made Jack kind of struggle to see. All right, how are they gonna? If they're going to be adamant about getting Volpe in the lineup, what does that do to the rest of the infield alignment? It's not. It's a problem.
Yeah, I think the infield alignment. I mean, honestly, it's got to be. It's got to be Rosario, Volpe, Jazz, Goldschmidt. I mean, I think that's what your infield needs to look like because, I'm not, I don't think you want to have both Jazz and Rice both sitting. You got to have one of those guys in the lineup. Because tomorrow's lineup is going to be, I think it's going to be righty heavy for the most part. I think you're probably going to see 5 righties and 4 lefties is what I'm thinking. Unless they decide to go 6 righties and 3 lefties, that's when Jazz and Rice are both sitting, and you have Caballero and Rosario playing. But I don't know, man. It's a hard decision. And again, I know Volpe. The thing is, last year in the postseason, he actually played really, really well. Like he played so well in the postseason, and it was very encouraging. Does he kind of repeat that again? I don't know, but we'll see.
I think the problem both managers will have. I know Corey's got a lot more. He's got a little more. Swagger to him, and he's a great manager. This is it's hard to as much as we get on the Red Sox, they have great leadership, but it's really these teams have seen each other so much so often lately. There's no surprises, so that. Is because I said I think this is going to be whichever team gets the starter out is going to gain the edge. Whoever has to go to their bullpen first is going to be at the disadvantage.
Yeah, and you know what? The Yankees, the first time they played against Crochet. So that was a game that they lost, unfortunately. But the first time that they faced him, Crochet he struck out 9, right? He struck out 9. He struck out the guys he had 39 strikeouts against the Yankees this season. Let me just put that out there in 4 starts. But that first start, though, the Yankees bats were able to score 5 runs off of him. So they are able to hit this guy. They're able to score on this guy. It's going to be hard, right? I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying they could do it. It's possible. And he was able to get out of the 6th inning. And I think that's going to be the big thing. If they could get Crochet out of if they could get him, if he stops pitching by I'm not going to say 5th because I think he's going to get through. He's honestly going to get through 5.
No, I think both starters are going 6+.
Yeah, I think they're both going 6+. But if the Yankees can somehow get him out by the 6th inning, and depending on the score. Like let's say if the Yankees are down by 1 run, I like the Yankees' chances. I really do.
Yeah, I like that. I like this. Jonathan's mindset here.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the approach that they would against a caliber of Pedro, and believe me, as great of a season as Crochet's having, he's no Pedro. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, he's not, but it's also
But there are similarities.
It's easier said than done.
That's like trying to say, somebody that has, a 50 save season, they're like, oh, well, Mariano, don't compare anybody that, there are players that it's hard to make a comparison to, but you can see a parallel to it. I think would be the better phrasing for it. You can see the parallels between Pedro and Crochet this season.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Yankees do take a very patient approach, and see, I think the first inning is going to be a very quick inning for Crochet, because the Yankees are going to. If the Yankees are smart, I think they're going to try to see how he's attacking them. Is he going power first and then trying to work in some off speed, or is he going to try to keep him off balance right off the get go? I think they'll be able to better navigate the at bats and gain an advantage.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hard thrower, though. I'll say that. I think he's gonna attack. In the first inning, I think he's gonna look to attack the guys early and try to make these guys make it a quick inning. Essentially. So yeah. I think he's gonna attack these guys first. First thing. So I don't think. You're going to see some heat being thrown from Crochet, and he could throw some heat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, Jonathan, we know you're not comparing the two. That's why I was kind of clarifying for how we were responding to your comment. And what's going on, Dev? What's going on with that scary photo of yours? Brady, the scariest thing all the time is Boone is trying to outsmart Cora. It's not going to happen. Just the way he tried outsmarting Cash. Cora always makes him look like a fool. If the players handled their own business, then I think both managers can come out looking good. I think both managers are going to come out looking. Actually, you know what? I really can't even say that. I think regardless, it's hard to make Cora look bad. But
yeah. Also, I don't know if you saw this tweet this is from Jack Curry, but this is about Rosario. He's 6 for 9 with a home run off Crochet.
That's why he's in.
So this is why
that solves that riddle.
That's why you need to start Rosario, because I mean it's not just Crochet. He just hits lefty pitching really well in general.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way you start Crochet at this could Crochet or Rosario on the bench. So I don't know, man. This could be one of those situations where I know I said you can't have both. You can't have like Jazz and Rice not both play, but it could be one of those things where neither one of them are in the lineup. Jazz could come in later, perhaps.
Yeah,
like a defensive replacement of some sort.
I think it would have to be how the game plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, and only for game one will I give Boone a pass if he doesn't use Jazz, just because even though the tests were all negative, just to give him one more day, because you don't want to take the risk of something becoming aggravated.
Yeah.
So it's that's terrible timing from Jazz. I mean, nobody plans on getting hurt, but the timing for it just couldn't be worse for this club.
Yeah, who questioned the Rosario trade? Because I sure as hell didn't.
No,
I'm not saying
the lack of usage had us questioning what they made the trade for.
Yeah, but who was questioning? Because I wanted the Yankees to trade for that guy. I've actually been wanting Rosario.
You've been a fan of his. I remember.
Actually,
his name came up. I think it was 2 years ago when we were talking.
Yeah.
Rosario. You've been a Rosario guy.
Yeah, I like Rosario. I've been wanted the Yankees to get him. So since we're kind of talking about Rosario, again, I remember talking with Custodio and TC. Custodio put this one out. He said he was like, "Hey, I would leave Rosario off in the lineup." I'm like, you might have something there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I was like thinking about it. I'm like, really? Put him at leadoff? And he was like, yeah, why not put him at leadoff? He sees the lefty more, at the leadoff spot against a guy like Crochet. I'm like, you know what, man? That might be an idea. Does Boone do that? I don't know, but I thought it was an interesting take.
Yeah. So Neil's throwing the stat out. That the Yankees have a 4-game home losing streak to Boston dating back to the forbidden year 2004, games 6 and 7. All other games, including the ALDS games 3 and 4. Well, in the Wildcard era, the Yankees have faced the Red Sox 24 times. What's up?
Oh, no. I was just saying once in the wild card round, but
each of them have played in every round since the wild card became a level of playoffs. Of those 24 games, they're 12 and 12. But Boston's won the last 8 of 9. So Boston has had our number in the postseason. And that's why, as confident as I am with the way the Yankees have been playing, I'm not taking the series lightly. I think it's going to be a battle. I don't think it's as clear cut as people are saying. I know a lot of Boston fans. I was saying this earlier. I don't know if you were still in the chat before coming on. A lot of Boston fans, they're making a mistake that we did when we were going to Boston in 18, screaming, "We want Boston." They think that they have the series won already. They think there's no way that Boston can lose to the Yankees. I think their fan base is setting themselves up for disappointment.
This is a different Yankees team. I think when was the last time the Yankees faced the Red Sox in a playoff scenario? Was it that was
18?
20,
No,
21? It was 21.
21.
Yeah, it was 21. But even prior to that, it was 2018. Honestly, I didn't I'll be honest with you, and as optimistic as I can be about the Yankees, I wasn't totally confident in 21. I wasn't really confident in 2018 for honestly for the Yankees to compete with the Red Sox in the postseason. This Yankees team, though, this is a different Yankees team. This team is a little bit more
different vibe.
What was that?
It's a very different vibe.
It's a very different vibe. This team is more complete. They finished with the same record, right, as last year with 94 wins. I predicted that these guys would win 93. I said 93 wins with all the injuries and all that. Yeah. Once the injuries went down, I said, I could see this team winning 93, but they won 94. They matched last year's total. I mean, look, this team did it without Soto, without Cole, without Hill for most of the season, without
Stanton most of the season.
Stanton, Oswaldo Cabrera,
Schmidt,
Jake Cousins. So they missed Judge for a little bit there too. They missed Jazz for a little bit. I mean, Bellinger didn't play for a few games because of his back. He was having some back issues and had that food poisoning. So, Yankees, Fernando Cruz, right? They missed him for a little while. Even Yarbrough got hurt at one point.
Yep.
So the Yankees went through a crap ton of injuries to start the season. They played a bad stretch they played 2 months of bad baseball in June and July.
And that's kind of why I have this gut telling me, and we always wonder about we want our managers to manage through their gut. I'm gonna do the show through my gut. I think that this team right now is oozing this level of confidence because of everything that was thrown at them. They were still able to make it to a playoff spot. They were able to, after losing, a 7-game lead in the division, to finish the season tied with the division winner. And if one game goes differently, it's a whole different ball game. But
yeah, and that kind of, and I mean, the title of your stream here, does playing the wild card favor the Yankees? Honestly, since they have that fire under them, I'd say it would probably favor them. I think if they had that first round bye, that fire would probably be. I'm not saying.
I know.
I'm not saying it would be totally be out, but they would probably cool off a little bit, because we got to remember, man, the team that goes into the post, the team that goes into the postseason, that ends the regular season on a hot note or on a good note, and with that fire that's underneath them, they usually are the ones that are still going to have that fire and go out there and beat these and beat their opponents. We saw that with the Tigers last year. The Tigers, they went on this hot streak in the month of August. It carried into September, and then they pulled off an upset against the Astros, which nobody expected. Everybody expected the Astros to win, myself included, but the Tigers pulled off an upset. So and the Tigers were, I think they were the best team during that time, because of during that 2-month stretch. So the Yankees are kind of in a similar situation, because August and September they played really good. They played really good baseball, and then the deadline moves eventually it paid off. You saw the deadline moves starting to pay off. So this team started vibing. Everything started to get in sync with the pitching, with the pitching, with the bats, the offense, defense. Like everything's just started to click with these guys. So I don't know. The Yankees could, postseason baseball is a different animal too. I mean, I'm not saying this again. I'm not saying the series is going to be easy because it's not going to be easy.
Exactly.
It's going to be a dogfight. But I think the Yankees, man, I don't know. They have something to prove, and this season they've proved a lot of people wrong. And a lot of folks thought that this was going to be a fourth place team. They wouldn't smell the postseason. I was like, you know what? They're gonna prove all of you wrong. And I think
the original prediction was fourth place, 78 wins.
Yeah, it was like fourth place, 78 wins. People giving them 85 wins. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to make the postseason. I'm like, man, it's like
I got to go back and see what I said, but I think my prediction was I thought they reached the 90 mark.
Yeah, I said 90. If it wasn't for the injuries, prior to like Cole and Stanton, right? So before the season even started, I said 96 wins. I was actually giving them 2 more wins from last year, but then once these injuries started piling up, I was like, all right, they're going to go 93. I was one off.
Yeah. What should two more things I want to get to before we call it a night.
Sure.
I want to close out with Judge, so I'll go to the other guy next. What do we need from Fried? Obviously, we need him to be the ace, but what should do you think there should be a specific approach against this Red Sox lineup?
Well, just like he did in one of his starts against the Red Sox. Now, unfortunately, they lost that game 1-0, but there was an encouraging start for Max Fried, and I think from that start, I think it really turned things around for him, where he went back to that ace form. Is just being more, just having that patience on the mound, and composing yourself. Because in that game where he pitched, and he pitched really well, but again, the bullpen gave up that 1 run. But in that game, though, I was like, it was very encouraging, because there was a couple of starts where he kind of struggled a little bit against the Red Sox, but that one start really for me was just like, man, he looks a lot more composed. He looks more relaxed. He seems more confident in himself. So that's what we need to see from Max Fried tomorrow. That's what
I need to see that if he does have, I think the first inning, I think he needs to really, he needs to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need, he doesn't need a 9-pitch, 3-strike. He doesn't need an immaculate inning to get the confidence. Most aces, the hardest inning for them to pitch is the first inning. Is that they're coming, they're looking for that rhythm. And we've seen it over the years. We've watched a lot of baseball, a lot of aces. If you don't get them in the first inning, you're cooked. I think if Max Fried can match Crochet, because Crochet, I think I think he's going to be second place in the Cy Young vote. He's had a great year. I think it's coming somewhere else. I think Strubal's getting the.
You think Strubal's getting it?
I think Strubal's getting it. I think he had a great season. And I mean, on the NL side, if it's not Skeens, I think it's rigged.
Yeah,
but the end of the season, the season awards that could be a show for another time.
Yeah.
We'll tease it there, but I think if Cole, geez, I wish if Max Fried is able to really get that's too, Brad. If Max Fried can get through the first and really, be able to walk off the mound with a little swagger, I think that's going to actually increase the confidence of the bats.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all gonna collaborate together. The bats are gonna feed off of them, and once the bats start to get to Crochet, if they get to them, then it's going to elevate Max's confidence. It's gonna be that seesaw. They're gonna have to feed off each other.
Yeah, I think it. I think the first inning will be very telling. I think a lot of times when you watch these games, you kind of get an idea of what the game might look like after the first inning. You're just like, okay, you know what? I kind of have a good feeling about this game. The first inning, if it's a little rocky, you're just like, oh man, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes the first inning could set the precedence to the rest of the game.
And the other thing I want to see now, we'll close it out with the MVP, Aaron Judge. I think I'm not saying he's got to hit a home run in the first inning, but he needs a line drive single, a double. He needs to get a base hit that first at bat. I'm not asking much. I don't want to see that first inning with a strikeout. I want everybody to be like, oh fuck. He Crochet didn't strike him out.
Judge is real quick. Judge is he's the key to the playoffs. Yeah. It's as simple as that, man. He's got his postseason numbers, unfortunately, have not looked great. I mean, in the World Series last year, I know, the World Series didn't exactly work out in the Yankees' favor. I know, we all know, but it would, he played well in the World Series, but Judge is going to be the key to this, in the postseason.
This whole run.
Yeah, for this whole run, because if he could get going, man, it's like, you know what, man, it's like the rest of the guys are going to get going. But the thing is, if Judge is not going, though, there's other guys in that lineup that are going to back him up.
No, I'm talking, my intent, to think like that is I don't want to see on X. It'll be one at bat. And they'd be like, see, Judge sucks. He can't hit the postseason. Like, it's coming. They already have, they have their tweets pending. They're ready.
Yeah, those are just fans with the talking points. I mean, so, look, man, we'll see, dude. Like I said, Judge is going to be the key here. So, but like I was saying, he's going to be, if he can't get going, there's other guys that could get going though, man.
Hold on, Donnie.
Yeah, there's other guys that could get going because Bellinger's there, Stanton's there. Right. There's other bats in the lineup. This isn't 2024 where it was just Soto and Judge. There's other guys in this lineup that have been stepping up too, and stepping up in a lot of big ways. So,
yeah, no, it's definitely going to be they got to step it up, but all eyes are going to be on Judge. Stanton's he's already proven himself as a postseason animal. Bellinger, he's got nothing to prove. Even though he's in his first year as a Yankee, hopefully this is the first the first of a few, of him being here. I just want I want Judge to get that monkey off his back, for lack of a better term. And I think like a solid first inning, contact to get on base. I think not only will it, bode well for Judge and his confidence, because how much he doesn't really need he knows who he is. He knows he struggled in October. He doesn't hide from it. But if he's able to high velocity off the bat, I think it'll put the Boston fan base and players on notice. That if he's feeling because once Judge gets he gets that confidence going that he can read that pitcher, he's a problem. Judge can be a threat in the postseason as much as probably more than Stanton.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely, man. If he can, yeah, if he can, if he could just get fired up in the postseason, man, if especially in those previous years where if he was able to play well, he probably would have been better than Stanton. Like he probably would have had similar numbers to Stanton. Let's put it that way, because Stanton's numbers in the postseason are insane. But I think Judge would be almost close to him, maybe almost the same, But yeah, this season, I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't know. I hope I don't fall flat on my face on this, but I think Judge will have a good postseason. I really do.
I think this is the year of the Judge. I think he's gonna give it. How many years were we waiting for A-Rod to show up? Right?
Yeah,
because it always like it's and not to say they're the same caliber player, but like with A-Rod, Swisher, Teixeira, they would have phenomenal regular seasons and then disappear in the postseason. A-Rod in 09, with him and Matsui, with their bats, they were a huge part of why we won. I always make sure to give credit to the pitching, because the three-headed monster, with Sabathia, Burnett, and Pettit, they were an unmovable object. Like, they were so hard to get through. Judge needs that season. He needs that A-Rod year to be like, you know what? There's nothing you can say to me now. I've done it. And that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. How it all be. Tomorrow's going to be his chance to rewrite the narrative of his postseason. And so we're going to have to, unfortunately, wait on bated breath and see what happens. But it's going to be exciting. Are you calling the game at all tomorrow?
Yeah, my game plan.
Plans, and just in case anybody here is new, this is NFE, a tremendous friend of mine in the channel. Make sure you follow him on YouTube as well. He puts out a lot of great content, pre-game, live chats. Make sure you go and check him out. So what's your plan for the Wildcard series?
No, my game plan is this, because 99% of the time I do a separate pregame and then play-by-play. So this, I'm kind of doing mixing the two up. So probably what I'm going to end up doing, and it's going to be a long freaking live stream, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
You going right into.
Basically my game plan is to start the live stream an hour before the game, do the pregame, then just kind of get everybody hyped up, and let's talk about this series, and then then that'll lead us into the game time, and then I'll start calling the game from there. So that's kind of my game plan. I want to try and switch things up a little bit here for the postseason.
Hey, nothing wrong with keeping it fresh, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about it this morning.
Something they've never seen before.
What was that?
To give them something they've never seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and probably do something like that. Just it's probably gonna be like it's probably gonna end up being like a 3 or 4 hour live stream. So it's gonna be insane.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's your take on the 6 o'clock games? You think having it at 6 o'clock is a little strange?
I'm more in favor of having it at 7 personally.
Like why it's weird how they have.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the 6 o'clock game. Yeah. I mean, shoot, I don't know. I don't know. That's a question for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they're doing it at.
Donnie, sorry to get up, man. Yeah, real quick, Donnie. I hope it all goes well. You have DM me as you go through that and keep us all updated.
Yeah, what I'm thinking though, like, because a lot of these games tomorrow, I think they're. Yeah, I was gonna say these early games tomorrow, aren't they? Aren't some of the early games starting at like 3:00?
That's what I'm actually going to look up the postseason schedule.
I don't know, Tats. I don't know if is anybody in the chat noticing him kind of being slow.
Yeah, it's kind of slowing up a little bit. I can see it on my end.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
Detroit, you're kind of coming in and out of the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll try to make this quick and without too many errors and disruptions. So the first game tomorrow, the Detroit Guardians is 108. Then we have San Diego and the Cubs 308.
Okay.
Boston and Red Sox Yankees at 6. Then Reds Dodgers at 9.
108, 308. Okay.
So 1, 3, 6, and 9 are the times for tomorrow.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me.
Yep.
I don't know. There might be an issue on my end. I don't know, but no. I was wondering because I'm wondering if they set the time so there's like baseball games all day, so there's not like a gap in between, so that way the fans stay tuned in. So maybe that's why the times are the way they are. If that's their
plan, then I think they nailed it. I think that's a great plan.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm just glad that they made the Yankees Red Sox.
I wish I would have taken off. I would have sat at home and watched baseball all day. All right. Before the technical difficulties get too out of control, we're gonna call it a night. NFE, bro, appreciate you jumping on with me. Love you. You always have the open invite. You know how to sneak in. So, the back road to get onto the shows. So, with that, hope everybody does enjoy all the games tomorrow. Make sure you tune in and watch NFE on this live stream. It's not a disappointment. So salute to him and everybody in the chat. Love every single one of you. Appreciate yous. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button. Share this out, your friends, your family. The stream is on the corner. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles. This is Pinstripes After Dark. I'm Uncle Tats, guest host, NFE from the Strike Zone channel. So with that, wear those pinstripes with pride, play hard, and kick the shit out of crochet, will you?
Yeah, salute to my guy. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, guys. Give my boy some love here. So
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.